السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكم? How is everybody doing? Inshallah ta'ala. بخير. Inshallah ta'ala, we will continue in the introduction of studying with AMAU, episode 4, History of AMAU. So this is the history of Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, and not our Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, but rather the one that was established in the 6th century, around 555 after Hijrah, which is about 900 years ago, yeah. And one thing I want to mention at the beginning, inshallah ta'ala, is the fa'idah that is actually mentioned at the end. Basically, and we will go through it, this madrasa was started from absolutely nothing, actually. Absolutely nothing. The Ibn Qudama family, rahimahumullah ajma'in, are a family of ulema. And the person who started to build this was Abu Umar ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi. So, it started from absolutely nothing, and literally there was just an empty land that they had, and Abu Umar, or rather Sheikh Ahmed actually, um, the father, he just started putting rocks one on top of another to try to build some houses for his family and everything. And from like that small little thing, you will come to see in the video is that hundreds of imams, not just students but imams, bona fide scholars, ulama, any household names, they studied here and they benefited here, and they sought knowledge from this madrasa. And no doubt what we want, inshallah ta'ala, we want some sort of legacy like that we are known as any great ulama and people that benefited people. And we had many people, many major ulama come out from some effort that we made. The Sheikh mentions that we want a legacy, we want to have something, but how did it come? Did this legacy come because this Sheikh Ahmed, he was thinking, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be very famous and then people are going to know my name? And la, it did not happen like that. Actually, he had the opportunity to take over a masjid, someone else's masjid. He had the opportunity, the leader gave him permission. He said, go and take it. He said, I did not come here to compete in your dunya. He rejected it. He didn't want to take anything from anybody else. So what was it that gave this immense ni'mah of this al-madrasatul umariyah that lives, and the ulama they lived even till today. There are examples in their works. It was their sincerity, it was their action, it was their ibadah, it was their wara, it was their zuhud, it was their distance from the dunya, it was their connection to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. You'll see in the video on the academy, the Sheikh speaks about how pious and how righteous these people were, and how committed and devoted they were to da'wah and to ilm. And not just to da'wah and to ilm, but to their ibadah, to their worship. They say Abu Umar, the man who established the madrasa, he would do 72 raka'at of extra salawat per day. He would teach Quran from Fajr to Duha. He would lengthen his prayer all the way till Dhuhr. He would be constantly engaged in dhikr. He would give out much of his wealth in sadaqah. Subhanallah. So when we hear this example, the way, the means in which Allah Ta'ala raised these people was because of their sincerity, because they weren't looking for anybody else to give them something or to do something for them. They were doing it purely for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. And whatever ilm that they got, they acted upon it. It was said that Abu Umar, if a hadith ever came to him, he would act upon it. So sometimes we think, I want to be a scholar, I want to be very knowledgeable, things like this. The way you achieve that, and it's a good goal to have knowledge and to give da'wah, the way you achieve that is with your ibadah, is with your focus in your salah, is with your acting upon the ahadith. A hadith should not come and then you don't act upon it. This should not be possible to you. If a hadith comes, you act upon it. Otherwise, why is the hadith there? The ilm is not just for you to have all these ahadith. I know all of these things. Person asks you, okay, so how much do you act upon? The haqiqah, reality, maybe you don't act upon any of these ahadith you know. So if you know a hadith and you know how it's supposed to be acted upon, then act upon it. And inshallah ta'ala, if you take this, you can tread in the path of these ulama. You can take the same path that they were on, and Allah ta'ala will inshallah ta'ala raise you very high. Inshallah ta'ala, this is the khulasa of the big message that the Shaykh he wanted to send in this video. But also, no doubt, it's important that you learn the tarjama of these ulama. You learn their lives, you learn who they are, their names, when they lived, when they died. Very, very important. Ibn Sirin, he said, إن هذا العلم دين فانظروا عمن تأخذون دينكم. This ilm is your deen, so look at who you take your deen from. And you need to know who you're taking your religion from. You need to know who they are. And Ali ibn Abi Talib, he said, محبة العالم دين يدان بها. To love the alim, to love the scholar, it's from the religion. This is your religion. So how do you love an alim? You learn about his life. So this is the importance of this video. Some people may skip it, say it's not too important, it's just a history. I don't need to learn all this stuff. Maybe I can listen to it. لا غلط. It's incorrect. You need to watch it, you need to listen to it, you need to learn it, just like everything else. Inshallah ta'ala, we will not go through the entire story because haqiqatan it is just a story, and it does not benefit us too much to mention the entirety of it. Rather, I will try to make it very short, because there's many things also to mention, also many people's names, many people's names. So inshallah ta'ala, I'll try to be patient in it. So basically there is this family, Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, and I'll try to name everybody as I can. Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, some people maybe get confused because they think Ibn Qudama means the son of Qudama, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't mean that literally each person is the son of this man Qudama. What it means is Qudama is like their forefather, their ancestor, and then everybody falls under him. Similarly to Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah, his family, there are many people that are called Ibn Taymiyyah, but Ibn Taymiyyah was one of their ancestors like that. So Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, Maqdis is Baytul Maqdis, right? Is Jerusalem. In what we call nowadays Palestine. So at that time, basically the first crusade happened. The crusade is an expedition of the Christians to try to take over the lands of Muslims. The first crusade happened, and the non-Muslims, they took over Bayt al-Maqdis, and basically this Sheikh Ahmad was there, and he was teaching. He was teaching a lot and was gaining a lot of traction, and he was kind of riling up the Muslims a little bit, and not because of he's trying to rile them up, but because he's teaching them, and the Muslims are becoming empowered. So because of this, the leader at that time, the Christian leader, the crusader Ibn Barazan, he ordered him to be killed, Sheikh Ahmad. Sheikh Ahmad, he found out about this and he left. He left and he went to he went to Dimashq. He went to Damascus, and he settled over there, and over there is where he built the madrasa, or rather where he settled down and the madrasa was built actually. So let's talk about the family now. So this was Sheikh Ahmad, was like the kind of the father of this group, right? Sheikh Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, that's his name. He died 558 after Hijrah. Okay, 558. He had, I believe he had more children, but he had three important children we will name right now. Three children. And I believe he may have had more. One of them is Abu Umar. His name was Abu Umar Muhammad. Now, his name was Muhammad, but he was known as Abu Umar. And he died 607. Abu Umar died 607 after Hijrah. Abu Umar, he had a brother, his name was Al-Muwaffaq. He had a brother named Al-Muwaffaq, or Muwaffaquddin. Muwaffaquddin, and his name was Abdullah. His name, this Al-Muwaffaq, he's the famous Ibn Qudama. He's the famous one that wrote Al-Mughni, Al-Muqni', Rawdatul Nadir, and Lum'atul I'tiqad, all these books. Is this the famous Ibn Qudama? When you say Ibn Qudama said this, you mean Abdullah Al-Muwaffaq. And he died, when he died at 620 after Hijrah. They had a sister also. Her name was Ruqayyah. Ruqayyah, and she died 621. Ruqayyah died 621 بعد الهجرة. So these were the three people, and subhanAllah, all of them were scholars of hadith and fiqh, and I believe, or maybe, perhaps the Ruqayyah, maybe not fiqh, but she also taught. Yeah, she was a scholar. Yeah, no, she was a scholar as well. Alhamdulillah. So beyond this, there are more people in the family. And I don't know every single relation, so you can look this up as well. Ruqayyah had a son. His name was Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi. Ad-Diya. This is his like kunya or kind of nickname. Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi. And his name actually was Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahid. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahid Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi. He died 643 after Hijrah. This number 643, you'll see it come up later with one of the other ulema. Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi, he was the daughter of Ruqayyah. So he was the daughter of Ruqayyah. Abu Umar was his uncle, right? Was his uncle. Abu Umar, the Sheikh Muhammad Tim, he spends a lot of time speaking about Abu Umar, his fada'il, and I mentioned some of them, many actions, how committed he was to deen. SubhanAllah, so you should go and look, see what the Sheikh says. Abu Umar, he had many children, and he is the one actually that established this Al-Madrasatul Umariyah. That's where this Umariyah comes from. It comes from him, Abu Umar. He named it Al-Madrasatu Al-Umariyah. Now, so he had many children, Abu Umar, and he, from his children, one was, I suppose, very special. Her name was Amina. Amina, she died 631 after Hijrah. 631. She died 10 years after Ruqayyah, her auntie. Amina, and subhanAllah, the Shaykh also speaks so much about how pious she was, how generous she was, how righteous she was, how much ilm she had. Very, very knowledgeable. She actually took ilm. She learned from Abu al-Fath, Muhammad ibn Abdul Baqi, and he died 564 after Hijrah. Yeah. 564 after Hijrah. So she took any ilm from the ulama. And also another person that learned from her, also from the Ibn Qudama family, a lot of names, but pay attention, right? His name was Fakhr, or he was known as Fakhr ibn Bukhari. But that was not actually his name. His name was actually Ali ibn Ahmad ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi. This Abdul Wahid, it's and he's familiar, right? Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi was Ad-Diya. His name is Fakhr ibn Bukhari. Again, you have to go over it. His name was Ali ibn Ahmad ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi. Now, and he died 690 after the Hijrah. 690. That was Fakhr ibn Bukhari. He died 690. He actually, now he was actually known to have one of the shortest chains to the Prophet ﷺ at his time, and he learned from Amina. Amina, her daughter actually married Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi. Her daughter married Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi, married Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi. Now, so subhanallah, this is the whole family. So a few things, just because some ayat were mentioned. When Sheikh Ahmad, remember from the beginning, Sheikh Ahmad was the highest one, right? Sheikh Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, when he left, he's the one who ran away from Bayt al-Maqdis. When he went to Dimashq, he sent a letter back to his family, and he told them, I went here, come and follow us here. And he used the ayah from Surah Ibrahim, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم رب إنهن أضللن كثيرا من الناس فمن تبعني فإنه مني ومن عصاني فإنك غفور رحيم. Use this part of the ayah, فَمَنْ تَبِعَنِي فَإِنَّهُ مِنِّي. Whoever follows me, then they're from amongst me. They're following me correctly. وَمَنْ عَصَانِي فَإِنَّكَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Whoever disobeys me, then Allah Ta'ala, you are the most merciful and most forgiving. Another ayah, subhanAllah, Abu Umar, the son of Ahmad, Abu Umar, he was known for giving away much of his wealth. So much to the point that he didn't even have enough cloth to cover himself in the winter to protect himself from the cold. And when this happened to him, he read the ayah, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. He said, لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. And you won't attain piety and righteousness until you give from what you love. So he used this to remind himself of the sacrifice that he can make to achieve bir. And Imam al-Dhahabi, he mentions actually that these people, they remind you of how the Salaf were, how committed, how pious, how ascetic they were. SubhanAllah. And Abu Umar, he was also known for doing a lot of dhikr. So much so that when he was dying, he was reading dhikr. His hands were moving and his lips were moving in dhikr. And it reminds us of the statement Man asha ala shay'in mata alayh. وَمَنْ مَاتَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ بُعِثَ عَلَيْهِ. Whoever lives doing something, he's going to die doing that same thing. You're going to die how you lived. And if you die in a certain way, or you die upon doing something, you will be resurrected doing that. So he spent his entire life doing dhikr, he died doing dhikr. Alhamdulillah. And this last part, man mata ala shay'in bu'itha alay, whoever dies upon doing something, he is resurrected upon that. There is some basis from the hadith with this, as Ibn Kathirin he mentions. Subhanallah. So many things. Also, one more that we will mention. One more family member. We will mention Abdul Ghani ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi. Abdul Ghani ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi, he's the author of the very famous book Umdatul Ahkam. Umdatul Ahkam. So understand, he is different than Al-Muwaffaq. He's different. He's actually the cousin of Al-Muwaffaq, who is the author of Al-Mughni, Al-Muqni', all these things. Al-Kafi. Now, so speaking of the legacy of what these ulama left behind, this madrasa, it is said that 100,000 students through its lifetime, 100,000 students passed by and studied there. And the Shaykh, he mentions 200 imams, big major scholars that you and I would know or should know. They came out, they either studied here or they authored works here. SubhanAllah, what an amazing legacy that these ulama left behind, is that household names, they came to your madrasa, your establishment that you built. And inshallah ta'ala, will get the reward for that. SubhanAllah. So from the ulama was, the firstly is Abdul Ghani ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi. He studied there and he died 600 after Hijrah. The next sheikh was Abu Amr ibn Salah. Right? Abu Amr ibn Salah, he wrote Al-Muqaddimah in Ilm al-Hadith, and he died 643. He actually died the same year as Ad-Diya al-Maqdisi. Next we have none other than Abu Zakaria Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi al-Dimashqi. Al-Nawawi, Imam al-Nawawi, the author of Arba'in al-Nawawiyya, the 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi, and Riyad al-Salihin, and Sharh Sahih Muslim, many different works. The Imam, the Mujtahid, the Faqih, Imam al-Nawawi. He studied there. Besides him, Ahmad ibn Abd al-Halim, Ibn Abd al-Salam al-Harrani, Ibn Taymiyyah, the famous Ibn Taymiyyah that we know his works, al-Aqidah al-Wasitiyya, Tadmuriyya, al-Hamawiyya, Idara Ta'arud al-Aqli wal-Naql, his compilation, Majmu' al-Fatawa, Ibn Taymiyyah. He died 728. He studied there as well. Besides that, Alamuddin al-Birzali, he was mu'arrikh. He was a historian, and he died 739. Al-Birzali. Now, and after him, Jalaluddin al-Mizzi, the author of Tahdhib al-Kamal. He died 742 after Hijrah. Besides him, Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Abdul Hadi, the author of Al-Muharrar fil Hadith, and also Sarim al-Munki, these and also other books. He died 744. The author of Sarim al-Munki, he died 744 after Hijrah. Now next we have Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr ibn Ayyub ibn Al-Qayyim, Ibn Qayyim. Ibn Qayyim's real name is Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. He died 751. Subhanallah, does it seem that we are just naming all gigantic bona fide scholars? Subhanallah. After him came Imaduddin Ismail ibn Umar ibn Kathir, the Mufassir, Jalil, the very great, gigantic Mufassir and Mu'arrikh, historian, Ibn Kathir. He also studied here in Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, and he died 774. Different than Ibn Abdul Hadi. Ibn Kathir, he died 774. 774. And besides that, Zainuddin al-Iraqi, the famous author of Alfiyat al-Iraqi in Mustalah al-Hadith, and the teacher of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, he studied there as well. 806 after Hijrah, he died. 806, al-Iraqi, he died. Who else studied there? Shihab ad-Din Abu al-Fadl Ahmad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Ahmad ibn Ali ibn Hajar. Also, one faida, or maybe not faida, is his name is Al-Asqalani. It's with the ayn, Al-Asqalani, not Al-Asqalani. It's Al-Asqalani. He's from Asqalan. Now he died 852 after Hijrah. And besides him, and of course Ibn Hajar, we all know him. يعني نخبة الفكر, نزهة النظر, يعني فتح الباري, تهذيب التهذيب, like the gigantic scholar in Hadith. Bulugh al-Maram, of course. And the last one the Shaykh mentions is Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, who was very famous for his Tafsir al-Jalalain and for this famous masterpiece of a work, Al-Itqan. Al-Itqan, actually, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Hassan, he loves this book, Al-Itqan by Suyuti. He says it's actually the best work Suyuti ever made, was this book, Al-Itqan. And Suyuti, he died 911 after Hijrah. So these are all, if it seems a bit shocking, like, did I just mention a bunch of major scholars' works or names? It's like, yes, I did, but also all these scholars, they studied at Al-Madrasatul Umariyah. Okay? So this place was a major center for knowledge and for ulama. It seems like and think about how many of these books are we studying? Are we going to study their works? Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi, we're going to study Umdat al-Ahkam. I don't know Abu Amr ibn Salah, I'm unsure. Abu Zakaria Yahya ibn Sharf al-Nawawi, we're going to study many books from al-Nawawi. Ibn Taymiyyah, we're going to study his books, no doubt. Al-Mizzi, I don't think we study this time. Ibn Qayyim, perhaps we do, but Ibn Qayyim is gigantic. Ibn Kathir, we're going to study his books. Al-Iraqi, we're going to no doubt study his books. Ibn Hajar, we're going to study his books. As-Suyuti, we're going to study his books. These things, and our books are no doubt the major classical relied upon books in Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, in our online course. And subhanAllah, so many of our books that we are going to rely upon, that are the biggest books in the field, these authors, they study at Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, the original, in Dimashq. SubhanAllah, so I just want to reiterate again, inshallah ta'ala, that these major ulama, they all came into this place. And it all started from what? A few stones being put into the ground. But if you do it with sincerity and with worship, inshallah ta'ala, Allah ta'ala will benefit you. Barakallahu feekum wa salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.